Once confined to the dark visions of science fiction is now becoming a stark reality. Scientists in China have unveiled a concept that could forever change the meaning of life and parenthood and what it is to be human. A new arms race is underway, not for military might, but for the very process of creation. Here's more.
Imagine a world where the act of pregnancy is no longer a human experience but a technological one. A world where babies are grown in a sterile, artificial womb inside a machine. Something depicted in sci-fi cult movie The Matrix, it's the audacious new reality being pursued by Chinese scientists. They are developing what they claim is the world's first pregnancy robot, a humanoid surrogate capable of carrying a baby to term and giving birth. This machine, they say, will be equipped with a cutting-edge artificial womb that receives nutrients through a complex network of hoses and tubes. The humanoid, priced at around $1,400, being reportedly developed by Kaiwa Technology, a Guangzhou-based tech company. But with every breakthrough comes a burning question. Just because we can, should we? For centuries, pregnancy has been the most human of experiences. Replacing it with machines sparks fierce ethical debate. What does it mean for the sanctity of motherhood and the human bond between parent and child? There is also the question about who will control these artificial wombs. Will babies become products designed, engineered, manufactured? Critics warn of a slippery slope where life itself is commodified. Will the rich buy robo-surrogates while others grapple with infertility or medical risks? The implications are enormous, and the world is watching closely.
Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAHSHI'S, Rakah, Kodash, double honors to apostles of JMS, and the sincere Shalom to the brothers out here pushing this truth and sincerity. And now you have robo pregnancy now. And there's some shit. I mean, I can't say I'm really surprised, but it did catch me off guard when I saw it, because I'm like, I was not expecting that. But it's crazy that the technology that the Lord gave these people. And it goes to show you how far off these things is really gone, which is a good thing, because this just furthers prophecy so we can really get out of here. So I'm going to start off with Revelations. This is Revelations 13 and 12. It says, "And he exercised all power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed." Which will go back to Rome. It says, he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Now, the reason I wanted to go into the scripture, because actually, let me go further. Let me finish this. It says, "And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by the sword and did live." Now, this is automatically going into the MTOB, but you also had to think about when it said those miracles, which is more than just one miracle. Even before the MTOB, like this such thing, this will be quoted as a miracle. Now, the reason I wanted to go into this is because, Esau more like he has a hand in this. And it makes sense that why should we make it first when we can find others to do the work for us, and then we'll just take it and patent it and then do extra off of that. Because Esau doesn't really come up with shit. He just takes other ideas. So it wouldn't be far-fetched that he's just marketeering the shit and then just going to try to do some extra stuff with it. The same thing with the MTOB. Them heathens was more like already in the works of it, because when you look into it, the MTOP, even with the first chip for animals, started in China. So again, it makes sense that he would actually get these other ideas off of other people. Of course, he's just bringing back something that was which was an engraving on their hand and making it to a actual micro insertion, right? So even with this is just considered miracles, which he has power to do, and you know this is going to benefit a scam of women for this, because you know you got women that can't really have children, or you have men that probably can't give that may not be able to have that may not have seeds to impregnate a woman, because that's the thing too. So that'll probably be the next big thing. And so they, as they even said in the video, well, the poor have to be stuck with that, and the rich actually be able to afford this. So it tells you who's, and then what they're going to do is they're going to probably make it to where it's affordable later in the future once it's been, passed around and successful. So for the women that really, really want children, because that's what they love to do, even though they don't really take care of them, this would be the next best thing for them. And it's just a big scam. And it just takes away the naturality of it. Because now you're relying on something that's not supposed to be done. So, we move on to Jeremiah 10:2. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." So it's basically not learning the ways of our oppressors, especially since our people follow after them, which also makes them heathen. So you would think that for the average person, you would think, oh, this is a good thing that we have another accessibility to have children. The problem is it's not going to end well. You're talking about you're basically talking about a lab grown baby, which probably has already been done before. I wouldn't be surprised. Instead of having do it the natural way, or even finding another woman that can get pregnant and then have the child that way, everything that's natural has become unnatural. Now you could have, I mean, a lot of the things that used to be done naturally is done unnaturally. I mean, you could take currency, for example. Went from gold to paper to electronic, all for the comfort of accessibility, and that is just gone. And then learning, the parents would actually teach the child everything that's supposed to be learned. But they say you send them to school so they can learn all this extra stuff that we don't really even need in life. Of course, math and understanding, be able to speak and have languages, yes, we need that. But the extra shit that comes with it, we don't need, because who are we going to really use like algebra with, unless you're doing construction? It all depends on what you're trying to do. But then now schools are teaching a whole bunch of inflammatory things that's not supposed to be on the curriculum. What does a 5-year-old know about anatomy? Why is children being taught this? You see, this is everything that has been turned naturally has been turned unnaturally. The whole focus of going to school was to learn the basics of what you need in life, not anatomy. You learn that as you get older. That's why they had something called a sex ed class, but they kept it simple. You learned your part, you learned the woman's part. Now you gotta learn pronouns, genders, and all sorts of other stuff. Now you got lab-grown babies inside machines, which I wouldn't be surprised if they start teaching that in school, or some other BS. So let's go into that word dismayed. Dismayed. It says become or be alarmed, upset, or frightened, to confound, break down the courage of by danger or difficulty or fear of calamity, filled with despairing apprehension. Now let's go back to this. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen shall be dismayed at them. So you have the question, what are they going to be dismayed about? Because they're not going to be, sure that people might be upset about hearing about the whole robot baby thing, but they're going to, Esau has a way of conforming these people to it. That's not what they're going to be dismayed at. It says dismayed at the signs of heaven, which would be what the Lord is going to be doing, because these people love this wicked place, going to all these different heathen countries and adopting their ways. When the Lord starts breaking down all this stuff, and then especially when He comes back, people are going to be dismayed, because now they understand no matter where they go, every place is going to be screwed, and they don't like that. Our people love this place. We love Babylon. They love going to Japan, to any country out here, just so they can learn their ways, and it's going to backfire, because everything that these people once loved not going to no longer exist. Especially when the Lord comes back to destroy this place. Everybody knows that every kingdom is going to fall. And these heathens, they know their power seat is gone too. Because like China said, they wanted to be the next America. We're gonna flip the switch on, like you ain't never had a chance. And they're gonna be upset about that. They're gonna be dismayed, scared, and all sorts of stuff. The courage that these people once had, heathen and our people, gonna be gone. Right? Last scripture. This is Zephaniah 33:8. It says, "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey." This is what I was talking about. "For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy." Again, this is going back to what I was talking about with Jeremiah 10:2, because our people who has conformed to the ways of Esau and these other heathens, and have rejected the Lord's knowledge, which is supposed to happen, and that's what sparks their jealousy. See, the human of the Lord is great, powerful, and terrifying, because He'll make our people be wanting all these other nations, just to have that jealousy on purpose, because why prophecy needs to happen. See, the story was already written. Now we just got to finish the play. So, this was a little edifying, and with that, shalom.